likely source. Budget weekend inspected the progress made on the project. The governor, in a statement on his verified X account, emphasized that the railway tracks are designated for transportation and not for commercial activities or as a market space, warning traders to desist from displaying and selling wares on the railway tracks. Governor Sanwo-Olu also embarked on a thorough investigation and closely monitored the ongoing cleanup operations at both the Obalende Underbridge and Ijora Underbridge, currently being revitalized by the Ministry of the Environment. During the assessment, the governor addressed illegal occupants at the Ijora Underbridge, emphasizing the importance of the cleanup. He revealed that the underbridge would be transformed into a recreation space and not for residential or trading purposes, adding that this initiative aims to transform these spaces into vibrant, safe areas for the community. The first phase of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit LRMT Red Line system is projected to move more than 500,000 passengers daily. It stretches over a distance of 27 kilometers from Agbado to Oyingbo, with 8 stations at Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushi, Yaba, and terminates at Oyingbo. The Lagos State government has urged miners and dredgers to carry out their activities responsibly to guarantee a sustainable environment. This is coming as the State Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources commenced the process of revamping the mineral resources sector to align mining and dredging activities with the mega city status of Lagos. Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Biodun Ogunleye, and the Special Advisor to the Governor on Energy and Mineral Resources, Abiola Olowu, stated this during a stakeholders meeting held at Adeyemi Bureau Auditorium, Alausa, Ikeja. Speaking on the theme, revamping the mineral resources sector in relation to megacity status of Lagos, Ogunleye emphasized the need for dredgers and miners to conduct their businesses within the confines of available laws and stipulated regulations. On his part, Olowo said there is need to recognize the imperative of environmental stewardship and conservation in the pursuit of developmental goals, adding that the ecological integrity of Lagos is not negotiable and decisive action must be taken to mitigate the adverse impacts of mining activities on land and water. Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development has received the Delta State Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Michael Anoka, and his delegation on a visit to understudy the workings of the state ministry. Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Oluyinka Olumide, who received them in his office at Alausa, said Lagos State has a lot to offer its peers as far as physical planning is concerned, as the state had over the years demonstrated resilient management strategies in the sector. Olumide said the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu had given physical planning its pride of place, with massive investment in operative development plans such as master plans, model city plans, action area plans, and development guide plans to birth an orderly, organized, and sustainable built environment. Explaining the purpose of his visit, the Delta State Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Michael Anoka, said he needed to understudy the Lagos State model as the state had demonstrated leadership in regulating the built sector, while the Delta State Ministry of Urban Renewal is just about 5 years old. Anoka, who was accompanied by directors in his ministry, was full of appreciation for the insightful knowledge and experiences gained from the visit. Chief of Naval Staff Emmanuel Ogala has expressed concerns over the delay in the prosecution of suspected crude oil thieves and pipeline vandals. Ogala appealed to the National Assembly to create a legal framework to harmonize government-owned security agencies with private security firms for optimal results. He canvassed the speedy trial of suspected oil thieves when he received the House of Representatives Special Committee on Crude Oil Theft in Abuja. The committee, led by its chairman, Alhassan Ado-Doguwa, pledged to play its part in the President Bola Tinubu-led administration's quest to revamp the oil and gas sector in the country. There has been a heightened onslaught against oil theft in the country following an ultimatum given to the service chiefs in June by President Bola Tinubu. In January, the Nigerian army said it destroyed 233 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region and arrested 112 suspected oil thieves in 2023. Now to the rest of the stories. The African Development Bank, AFDB, has raised an alarm that rising prices of fuel and other commodities could lead to social unrest in Nigeria. The AFDB sounded the warning in its macroeconomic performance and outlook for 2024, in which it projected Africa's economy to grow higher than the 3.2% recorded in 2023. The AFDB projected that growth on the continent will rebound to 3.8% in 2024. The bank cautioned that an increase in fuel and commodity prices occasioned by currency depreciation or subsidy removal in Nigeria could trigger internal conflict. Rising cost of living has become something to worry about in Nigeria, with some Nigerians hitting the streets of some states in recent times in protests. The cost of living crisis is blamed on the federal government's policies of the petrol subsidy removal and floating of the naira. Meanwhile, the police authorities have said they would not condone any form of violence during the planned two-day demonstration declared by organized labor in protest against the hardships and high cost of living in the country. The police handed down the Riot Act as the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, gave fresh ahead of the minimum wage negotiation commencing today. On February 8, the NLC and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, gave a 2-week ultimatum to the government to implement the agreements on palliatives for workers to mitigate the impact of the fuel subsidy removal and other policies reached last October. The union said they had mobilized their members for the nationwide protest slated for February 27 and 28. The Health Guard International has held its 30th anniversary and 2024 annual convention in Lagos State. CEO, Health Guard International, Nneka Uwareze, who said the event was organized to celebrate members of staff for their positive contribution, charged consultants to re-strategize in achieving a suitable business environment despite the current economic downturn in Nigeria. Uwareze noted that the company has been able to survive these challenges through building and strengthening relationships with their consultants. She added that Health Guard is planning to start packaging and manufacturing in Nigeria once resources are available.
The past 4 years has been challenging. It's obvious everywhere. So for us to be still in business is only God's grace. It's just our passion for people that is driving us. If not, we would have lined up since. But we thank God. I'm hoping that it will be better. That's where we are striving to see.
Also, the Chief Operating Officer of Health Guard International, Loveline Bassi, urged members of staff and consultants to put in their best, adding that Health Guard products are in compliance with the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Controls standard.
What's unique about Health Guard, first of all, is that we're African-owned and we're Nigerian-owned. So everything that we do for the love of our people and our continent. So that makes us unique. Because, these days, what is raining is that everybody is jackpying to somewhere. We don't have any plans to just jackpy anywhere. Ours is to develop the country of Nigeria and the continent of Africa. Things might be hard, but, this is the one we have. What can we do?
On his part, Professor in Entrepreneurial Studies, University of Lagos, Sunday Adebisi, implored consultants to follow the principles of network marketing, which includes building connections, mentorship, personal relationships, among others. Executive and consultant of HealthGuard International, Benita Okonkwo, won an award in the category of Business Leader of the Year and also a Star of Africa award with a sum of 500,000 naira, among other prizes. Now to foreign news. Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz has warned that unless Hamas frees all hostages held in Gaza by March 10, an offensive will be launched in Rafah. Gantz said Israel would act in a coordinated manner, facilitating the evacuation of civilians in dialogue with American and Egyptian partners to minimize civilian casualties. It is the first time Israel has said when its troops might enter Gaza's overcrowded southern city. Global opposition is growing to such an attack in Rafah, where about 1.5 million Palestinians are sheltering. Earlier, the UN Public Health Agency said a key Gaza hospital had ceased to function following an Israeli raid. The World Health Organization, WHO, said it had not been allowed to enter Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, north of Rafah, to assess the situation. Israel's offensive against Hamas since October 7 has reduced much of the Gaza Strip to ruins. In our sports, a total of 12 beach volleyball players have resumed camp ahead of the 13th African Games to be held from March 8 to 23. The men's list includes the champions of the 2023 Beach Volleyball Star Tour, Ibrahim Peter and Uchenna Augustine. Others are Eminike Ezike, Ike Sylvester, Philip Zaga, and Victor Eze. Multiple national champion Francisca Ikehide leads the women's team to the national camp in Badagry, Lagos. Others are Esther Mba, Pamela Bauer, Naomi Yaro, Sarah Sander, and Dorcas Isaac. The duo of Francis Imodu and John Iwerima will handle the men's team, while Kayode Ajilore and Christy Amadi are in charge of the women's team. The national beach volleyball players are currently training in Badagry, Lagos. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, ensure the registration mark on your vehicle is clear and visible at all times. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know the Sanwo-Olu administration provided 450,000 pupils with e-learning devices? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, to the highlights of the major stories. Ahead of the inauguration of the Lagos Red Line Rail by President Bola Tinubu on February 29, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu over the weekend inspected the progress made on the project. The African Development Bank, AFDB, has raised an alarm that rising prices of fuel and other commodities could lead to social unrest in Nigeria. We also told you that Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz has warned that unless Hamas frees all hostages held in Gaza by March 10, an offensive will be launched in Rafah. And in sport, a total of 12 beach volleyball players have resumed camp ahead of the 13th Africa Games to be held in Ghana from March 8 to 23. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagostate.gov.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fabulagun. I'm Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.